Hi guys, this is Saurav and today we're gonna see the posterior triangle of the neck. Okay, so posterior triangle is a triangle that is present in the posterior part of the neck. So let's gonna see what is the posterior triangle and how it looks. So just follow my red marker. So guys, you can see this is triangular shape. So this is called the posterior triangle. Now it comes what forms its boundary. So the selected muscle is the trapezius muscle. This muscle forms the posterior boundary of this triangle. The anterior boundary of the trapezius muscle forms the posterior boundary of the posterior triangle. Okay, and you can see this muscle. This muscle is called the sternocleidomastoid. The posterior boundary of the sternocleidomastoid forms the anterior boundary of the posterior triangle. Now it comes the floor. So floor is formed by the five muscle. Okay, so the first muscle is the semi-spinalis capitis. The first muscle is the semi-spinalis capitis. So can you see this muscle, this thread like muscle? This is the semi-spinalis capitis. The second muscle is the splenius capitis. The second muscle is the splenius capitis, and this third muscle is the levator scapulae. Okay, and the fourth muscle is the scalene medius, and the fifth muscle is the first few digitation of the serratus anterior. So here we have the first few. Actually this is not very much evident in the model, but it is formed by the four muscle. The first one is the semi-spinalis capitis. The second one is the splenius capitis. The third one is the levator scapulae. The fourth one is the scalenius medius, and the fifth one is the first digitation of the serratus anterior. So here we got one trick. You have 1s, 2s, L, and the S and the F. So how you can remember? You can remember that Sanjay sir loves samosa and French fries. So this S for the semi-spinalis capitis, this S for the splenius capitis, this L for the levator scapulae, and this S for the scalene medius, and this F for the first digitation of the serratus anterior. So floor is quite easy, simple trick. Sanjay sir loves samosa and the French fries. Okay, now it comes the roof. So roof is formed by the deep cervical fascia and superficial fascia. So the one thing to know that the content of the posterior triangle, like the external jugular vein, the cutaneous nerve that's come from the cervical plexus, and the platysma muscle, all these things are present in the superficial fascia only. Okay, now it's come the content. So before going to content, I'll tell you one thing, that see, this is the omohyoid, this is the inferior belly of omohyoid. Inferior belly of omohyoid divides the posterior triangle into two parts. This one is the first triangle, okay, and this one is the second triangle. Actually in this model it's look like quadrilateral, but it is triangular only. So actually omohyoid goes like this. Actually omohyoid will go somewhat like this. So this forms a triangle. So the upper triangle is called the occipital triangle because it contains the occipital artery. Okay, and the lower triangle, this triangle, is called the subclavian triangle or supraclavicular triangle because it is above the clavicle and or it contains the subclavian artery. So that's why it's called the subclavian triangle. So let's go to the content. So first we will see the content of the occipital triangle. Okay, as the name suggests, occipital triangle. So The main content of this occipital triangle is this. This is the occipital artery. Okay, can you see this artery? Here we have the occipital artery. So occipital artery is the main content of this occipital triangle. Okay, the second content for the occipital triangle is this artery. This artery is the superficial transverse cervical artery. So what it does, it provide the blood supply to this area. Okay, now the next content is the four cutaneous branches from the cervical plexus. Okay, the four cutaneous branches from the cervical plexus are: the first one is the lesser occipital nerve, the second one is the great auricular nerve, the third one is the transverse cervical nerve, and the fourth one is the supraclavicular nerves. So you can see it's called OATS, OATS. This is a mnemonic for the nerves. Now we will see how the nerves are and what it innervates. So guys, this nerve is the lesser occipital nerve. Okay, and it innervates the skin on the upper 1/3 of the cranial surface of the auricle. Like in the simple word, it innervates this area. It innervates the skin of this area. Now the second nerve is the great auricular nerve. So it supplies the skin, okay, over the angle of mandible and over the mastoid region. So in the simple word, it's gonna supply these area, okay, this area. Now it's come the third nerve, that is the transverse cervical nerve. What it does, it will go to the anterior part of the neck and it supplies the innervation to this anterior region of the neck. Okay, now the last one we have the supraclavicular nerve. The last one we have the supraclavicular nerve, the selected one. So actually it has three division. Okay, it has three division, or you can say three terminal branches. So the lateral one, this one is the lateral one. The lateral one gonna provide the supply to the skin over the shoulder, or you can say near the deltoid muscle. Okay, and the intermediate one is gonna supply near the chest region. Okay, and the medial one, the most medial side, okay, it gonna supply the chest up to the second rib. So these were the innervation for the four cutaneous nerve. Guys, now it's come to clinicals. So as you can see, all the four cutaneous nerves is coming from this area, this small area. From this area, all the four cutaneous nerves are coming. So whenever you want to operate the neck region, the posterior neck region, so we want to give anesthesia. So at this point we can inject the anesthetic agent and anesthetize this area, this whole neck, and we can easily operate. So this was one of the important clinicals. Okay, now we're going to see the content of our subclavian triangle. So guys, its content is quite simple, nothing much to bother. So for the content of the subclavian triangle, you have this subclavian artery, as its name suggests, subclavian triangle. So subclavian artery, you have this the terminal part of the external jugular vein, okay, and you have the trunks of the brachial plexus. As you can see, uh, we have lots of trunks of the brachial plexus. So the content are, first one is the third part of the subclavian artery, the second one is the subclavian vein, the fourth one is the terminal part of external jugular vein, and the fifth one is the trunks for the brachial plexus. Guys, now it's come to the lymph node. Okay, so the lymph node has some clinicals, so we will see the lymph node. Okay, the clinicals for this triangle, the clinicals for this triangle, the subclavian triangle, as I said that we have the trunks of the brachial plexus. So whenever we want to operate the arm, so what we can do, we can inject the anesthetic agent at this triangle, and whole upper limb will get anesthetized. So this is the one of the clinicals for the subclavian triangle. Okay, now we're going to see the lymph node. Okay, because lymph node has some clinicals, so I will show you how the lymph nodes are there. Okay, we have two lymph nodes here. So the first lymph node, the first group of lymph nodes will be near the path of the spinal accessory nerve, and this lymph node is called the lymph node along the spinal accessory nerve. And the second lymph node we have in the subclavian triangle, and that lymph node is called the supraclavicular lymph node. So it has some clinicals. So suppose a patient comes to you, okay, and he says that he is having some type of pain in the posterior part of the neck, and you go and you are examining him. So if you notice that the only left side, if you notice that only left side supraclavicular lymph nodes is enlarged, so these things can give you suspicion about the cancers, cancer for stomach, cancer for testis, and the cancer for other abdominal organ. Okay, but when you see that the lymph node is enlarged for the both side, okay, so you may have suspicion for the cancer for the breast, or somewhere in the chest, or even in tuberculosis, the supraclavicular lymph node will get enlarged. So guys, I think I had covered all those aspects related to the posterior triangle. So that's all for now, and if you like this video, subscribe my channel, share this video to everyone, and don't forget to press the bell icon, like this video, share this video. Thank you guys. Saurav signing off.